What's going on, everybody? Scott Hogan coming at you. We are here doing our instructor series again, going around, giving you some different looks from some really, really good instructors. Hopefully give you some ideas to help you with your golf game. We are here at a place you might recognize if you've been in the golf world. We're at TopGolf Schaumburg. We're here with Jack Wilband. He is PGA professional and the regional director of instruction for TopGolf here. And he's going to talk to us today about something that I've noticed. We've played together a couple of times, and there's something he's done in his game that I thought was really, really cool, and something that you don't see a whole lot of people doing, and that is just some simple yardage gapping. And not only that, I think we all know a little bit about yardage gapping, but the way you do it, I thought was really, really cool, and something that I think a lot of more people need to be doing. So can you talk to us a little bit about your yardage gapping, especially with wedges? We're going to do a lot with that right now, but can you talk a little bit about that and how you do it and kind of what you added to your game this year that really helped you out?
Yeah, thanks, Scott. So the biggest thing for me is that I have 4 wedges in my bag. They're all gapped accordingly about 4 to 5 degrees apart with the loft angles. Now, that being said, the pitching wedge, gap wedge, sand wedge, and lob wedge are going to be broken down into 4 distances that I have logged as carry distance. Now, the reason why I'm going to have about 16 distances total over the course of those 4 wedges broken down into 4 distances is because I'd like to flight the ball higher and lower into certain distances as well. For example, I might see that my quarter swing with my lob wedge is about 40 yards, but also the quarter swing or half swing with my pitching wedge is also about 40 yards. One's obviously going to go higher and lower, right?
Right, yeah. You're taking some speed off it. So you're doing it where you actually, and this is where I saw it, you actually have a sheet out there.
Yep.
And you write it down. You come here, and obviously here at TopGolf, you have the great tool of you hit a ball.
Top tracer.
Yeah, you got top tracer, which we see on TV all the time and all that. That's right? Great. Yeah, and so you see it, you know how far, and you said a key word there, carry. How far you carry the ball.
Carry the ball, yep.
With a wedge, that's important because you're trying to land it over something. You're not planning on it running out that far, any of that stuff, right?
Constantly thinking about obstacles, water hazards, sand traps, how much green I have to work with, how the ball's going to react when it lands. Is it going to spin? Is it going to roll out? That's another big carry a factor after we know the carry is, the descent angle of the ball coming down into the ground when it's hit with a more lofted club versus a less lofted club.
Okay. So you said you're going to have 16 yardages.
16, yep.
Okay. So I'm going to have you, what club do you have there?
I have a 60-degree lob wedge.
Okay,
yep.
So you got your 60. All right, so if you're coming up here, I'm gonna let you come up here.
All right.
So if you're gonna do this, all right, I'm gonna hit, let's go with a half swing, right? You said half swing or whatever. What would be that first one? So how far would you expect that one to go first off?
So I hit that one a little skinny, but Top Tracer's got that going 42 on the carry.
Okay, so when you say that was a half swing?
Yeah.
What do you mean by half swing? What is a half swing to you, I guess, is what are you saying? How do you judge that?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I've always tried to figure out in terms of the length of the backswing, about how far back I'm going to take the club in the backswing. So when I'm taking the club back to, let's say, shaft parallel to the ground, or let's say left arm parallel to the ground, I'm going to decipher whether the shaft parallel to the ground or the left arm parallel to the ground position are going to be my personal quarter swing or half swing. Yeah.
So you got a defined position. It's not necessarily, hey, I just feel like I'm going to hit it this. You're saying, all right, hey, you look at your chart, you're 40 yards away, you're like, hey, 60-degree half swing. All right, that means get my 60 out, swing it left arm parallel.
Exactly.
Kind of sound like that?
Yeah, so I'll rehearse it once or twice when I'm out there. I'll get behind the ball and I'll get a general feel. A player who does this quite a bit, and you'll see it on tour, is Justin Rose. He's a good example of that.
Yeah. So what's nice about that is, your left arm being parallel to the ground, that's not going to change from day to day, right? Your left arm, this is where your left arm is parallel to the ground, right? So it's not, hey, I feel like I'm going to do this or I'm going to do this. You're just going to that spot and there we go. And you're pretty much able to do it all the time then.
Yeah, and I mean, if we think about it in terms of shoulder rotation, the length of your swing arc, of course, you know, as we think about swing length, that's a variable that's going to play a factor in club head speed.
Right.
Club head speed, ball speed, and then there's your distance change. So as I think about the club going back to quarter of the way back, or left arm, or just above left arm parallel to the ground, I start to think, you know, quarter of swing, shaft parallel, just above that, half, left arm parallel to the ground, 3/4, and just above that would be my full swing with a wedge. I never actually take the golf club back to parallel to the ground with a wedge. That's just not something I do personally.
Yeah. So can we see you hit one? So you just did a half.
Yeah.
Let's go a little bigger here, okay? So let's call it, what do you call that?
I would call that, I'm getting a little bit closer to a 3/4 wedge.
Okay.
Lob wedge.
And so,
that's about a 60-yard shot, according to Top Tracer.
Yeah.
On the fly or on the carry.
Yeah, and then the height was 42.
42 feet. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna try one more time here. Yeah.
That looked pretty similar.
Yeah.
That looked pretty similar.
Very similar golf shot. I should probably be in the same realm of carry, about 63.
Yeah, 43 feet. So the height is consistent, which in wedges, that's really nice.
Yes.
Because if you start going higher or lower, that's going to affect a lot of things, you know, how it lands.
Of course, you could play around with a variety of different factors. One of the things that I look at, too, if I have some sort of launch monitor, is to see what my launch angle's at. For example, we're at TopGolf, folks, so you're going to have to, you know, excuse some of the birthday parties.
It's exciting.
We've got parties all over. But the 60-degree lob wedge, if it's launching at about 30 degrees, I think typically it's going to be optimal.
Yeah.
You know, you have a bunch of pros that think half the stated loft angle as a launch angle would be ideal. So I think the shot where I was just talking, like that 60-yard 3/4 lob wedge. And if I maybe start to notice like there's a lot of difference in the carry distances, I'm like, all right, well, let me get in front of a video camera and see if that left arm is parallel to the ground or not.
Yeah.
Because the reel in the field could change. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
So if I switch you up, I'm going to give you a 56 here.
Cool, let's do that.
So let's do that half swing again, okay, with that club. Okay, so we got your half one to 60.
Yeah. So we're going to do a half swing with the 56 here.
Okay. And so that's going to go right around 60 yards as well. But here's the thing: is that only went 37 feet.
This goes back to our point from earlier, right?
Yeah.
Where we were talking about lower launch angles.
Right. So you can, you know, there might be, as you work through this whole, you know, hey, I've got my 16 shots. You might have some crossover distances, but they're still valuable because, like I said, what if you're playing like into the wind or you want to hit it lower, right? You can actually keep the ball down or higher or whatever.
Yeah, it's mid-October. You go play, that shot right there becomes invaluable.
Right. So it's not only just looking at, all right, hey, I got to learn how to control it, but learn what the ball is doing as you're hitting all these shots. All right, let's see you do the 3/4 then.
3/4 swing, all right.
Okay.
That was hit pretty good.
Hit good, definitely a little farther.
Yeah.
Went a little higher.
92 yards was the carry distance with my 3/4 swing, 56-degree sand wedge there.
Yeah, so it's going higher. It's also going farther, so it should probably go a little higher.
Yeah.
I would say, but yeah, so you can work your way through. So how would you go through your process then? Like when you created your sheet, what did that process look like? Are you hitting like 5 balls with each club?
Well, first things first, I had to do it here at TopGolf, and then I had to understand that I'm doing it with a range ball, right?
Right.
So, you know, you look at the TopGolf balls and they have the number 70 on them, which means that they're reduced flight by 30%.
Yeah.
So these are 70% of a normal ball.
Okay.
So I go play with a Pro V1 and I might see that my quarter, half swing, 3/4 wedge distances are totally different.
Right.
So what I want to do is I want to take the knowledge that I've obtained here and then go to a driving range and shoot a couple targets on the driving range with a Bushnell rangefinder, and then start to factor in weather and all the other factors that you're going to have.
Right. Yep. So it's a never-ending process is really what it comes down to.
Yeah. Yep.
So you can get an idea, but like you said, you got to know your environment. the conditions you're in change it. You know, it's getting colder here in Chicago, so that's
Totally.
going to affect things a little bit. You know, all of that stuff. So we're always looking at this. So, you know, in reality, on a daily basis, we could go through and, hey, I'm going to check where's my half swing at, where's my quarter swing, and where's my full swing at.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that nails it. Yeah.
So when we look at people doing this, I think the best thing is it got me thinking about it and realized, hey, I need to have a system for how we're doing these wedges. And my wedges got a lot better throughout the year as well from what I learned from him, and seeing that, you know what, don't just get out there and wing it and say, all right, I got this, no problem. You got to be thinking, all right, you know what, I am going to dial it in, get precise, because these are supposed to be precise shots, and, you know, keep paying attention to it as you're going. Keep paying attention. Hey, this is actually how far it's going. I'm not just going to do it once and then, hey, I'm good forever. Always got to be dialing in these numbers.
And to add to that, once I have a student that does this and they obtain their numbers with their wedges, I actually like this little feature of going on Google, and there, you can actually type in number randomizer between, let's say, 30 and 120. And you hit randomize the number, and all of a sudden you get 76, and you look at your chart and find 76 somewhere on that chart.
Right.
And we dial in that with that wedge for a few shots and then switch it.
We might have to have a little game with that later. So we will check that out a little bit later here in a sec. So Jack, thank you so much for having us out here. It's been great, having a good time learning and working on our games. So if people want to get a hold of you, come out here, take a lesson here at beautiful TopGolf Schaumburg, how can they do that?
Yeah, hop online, just search TopGolf Schaumburg, find me right on the website. There's a section called Plan a Visit. You can find lessons and classes. We offer group lessons, junior lessons, and adult lessons. Love to have you guys out. Just go right on the website and you can book your lessons right online.
Awesome. And I will also link his social medias down below in the description, so make sure you go follow him, check him out. He has a lot of great stuff on there too. So thanks everybody for tuning in. Thank you. And we'll see you in the next one, all right?